If you're hearing this, you're listening to the free version of our members-only podcast. Normally, these episodes are shortened, with the full content being available via our Patreon. However, on occasion, we feel that the subject matter carries an important message for all to hear, and so leave the free version unaltered from our members-only equivalent. That is the case here, so please enjoy, and if you want to hear more podcasts in full or access our exclusive videos, consider checking out our Patreon page. Welcome to the Above Average podcast with me, Mark Lewis. On today's episode, I talk with Mark Smith, who I met when he competed at Hyrox in Manchester. Mark is in the middle of a weight loss and fitness improvement journey, and talking to him about that in Manchester reminded me of where I had been at one point. But a big difference between us is that I wasn't entering competitions like Hyrox when I was where he is now. I waited until much later in my own journey, by which time I was already reasonably fit. So I thought it would be interesting to speak with him about his experience of competing in Manchester and also doing parkrun, something we're both big fans of, while he's still quite early into his transformation. As I say, it's something I never did and in many ways regret, especially when I see others doing it now, people with still some way to go before they are the weight they want to be or at the fitness level they're happy with, yet not letting that stop them from showing up and getting stuck in. Because my perception of them, when I see that, is not that they are going slower than average or taking longer than most, it's that they are working harder than everybody, almost to the point where people at the quicker end of the results table might not even comprehend what they're achieving. Having run my last Hyrox in a weighted vest for charity, and so deliberately made my race harder by making me heavier and causing me to take longer than I know I'm really capable of, I wanted to compare notes with Mark as somebody currently at least dealing with challenges like that every time he sticks on his trainers. Mark Smith, welcome to the Above Average podcast.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. You're our first ever guest, so no pressure. It's like the maiden voyage of the Titanic. This,
well, that didn't end too well. So
no, it didn't. Although it's quite exciting until the end. So maybe that'll be this.
I had 4 days of pleasurable cruising.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Look on the bright side. You're a glass half full man. I like that already. Okay, let me start off by explaining to listeners why I thought you would be someone cool to talk to on here. I met you at Hyrox in Manchester, which was a couple of weeks ago now, and I was loitering in the kind of car parking area out the front, and you came over and said hi. You'd seen a couple of the videos, and we just had a bit of a chat about your plans. And you mentioned that you were on a kind of like a weight loss journey, and you were diving into Hyrox, which I thought was pretty cool because it wasn't something that I did on my weight loss journey. I waited until a lot later in my journey before doing anything quite so exciting. And so I thought it was quite a cool thing to be doing. You then went off to go and compete. And when you went off, Jen, my wife, said to me, hey, he might be a cool guy to talk to because you've been wanting to talk to someone that is doing just that, someone that is on their journey, a journey that I was on at one point, and in many ways still am, I suppose. And someone that's kind of dived in and doing what you never did. And I said, yeah, he might be. And the reason I was hesitant was because I've seen over my years of doing things like obstacle course racing and Hyrox and all sorts of things, marathons, park runs, the lot. I've seen many people doing those events, and for whatever reason, whether it's their age or their health or their weight, whatever it might be, taking a bit longer than other people. And whenever I see that, I always think, first of all, wow, they are almost doing a different event in some ways. The level of admiration for that is huge. It's not at all a sense of, I don't see people like that as being slower than me or indeed anybody else. I literally think, goodness me, they've almost signed up for a harder event than everybody else. Fair play. So I love that idea. But equally, there are sometimes people that I see doing that who have almost settled, if that's the right word. So in other words, they have got, let's say they're a larger person, they've got themselves to an event like that. And first of all, anybody doing that is off the charts successful because most people are sat at home. So hats off to them. But equally, they get there and they are very comfortable just being a larger person, plodding around and just kind of patting themselves on the back that they did that. They have almost arrived at the end of their journey, and it's just to be able to go and do those events, and that's cool and that's fine. But it's not what I was doing. I was always, still am, striving for a bit more. So I thought, well, it'd be interesting to see how Mark does. So I looked up your results after the event, and I saw you took over a couple of hours to do Hyrox, which is a long time to be doing Hyrox. And to be honest, it's a long time to be doing anything. And then, coincidentally, on the Hyrox Facebook group, somebody posted up a video shot from up in the stands of you finishing Hyrox, so you doing the wall balls. I saw it, and it's this kind of grainy rubbish footage. It's like the Bigfoot tape or something. It's like you can just about make out somebody in the distance. I could see in your face that you aren't settling at any stage of those wall balls. You are battling that event to the very end. And then even better, I'm going to use the word run because it's the right word, but it doesn't look like a run that anybody would recognize. You run from the wall balls to the end, and you cross the finish line, and you're just kind of pumping your arms, and you just, I mean, I was just blown away at how
it was an awesome feeling.
Yeah, I can imagine it was. Immediately, I thought that's it. He's the guy. So what I want to talk to you about, is just the experience of doing an event like that and other things, because you mentioned to me you've done parkrun and stuff like that. What it's like to do those events on that weight loss journey, because when I started YouTube, I'd already, in a way, completed my journey. And in a way, it was a pity that I hadn't documented it sooner, because it would have been really interesting to do. So a lot of people said to me, hey, it's great that you did the journey, but we've kind of caught you at the latter end of it. And I get asked lots of questions about what it was like earlier on, and I almost can't remember, or I blocked it out. So you are, in a way, you're kind of where I was a few years ago, because I'm right, you're 45, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm nearly 50, so we're about 5 years apart. And interestingly, actually, 5 years ago, I had a bit of a relapse on my weight loss journey, and so I was heavier 5 years ago than I am now. So over to you, really. So where are you at? Where do you consider yourself at on your journey? Like when did you start thinking I'm gonna go on this whatever transition? I'm gonna change. Where are you now, and where do you want to be?
Well, for me, it started about 18 months ago. I was out in our garden playing cricket with the kids and that, and I thought to myself, I think I bowled a few deliveries and thought to myself, I'm out of breath here. I mean, I was always a big fella, and I thought, right, this needs to change. So I need to lose some weight. I've always tried various things in the past. I'd got a personal trainer, which was okay, but didn't really work. And then I joined Swimming World. Got up one morning, didn't tell anybody. I just went straight down there and thought I'll give it a go. I was chatting to one of the members there, and I said to her, "Oh, you should try couch to 5K." But then I went home and I thought, well, I've just told her to do it. Why don't I do it? Yeah, that was probably about November time. I started doing that, and I'd lost about a stone and a half at this point.
So how heavy were you when you thought you're playing cricket and your kids are crushing you?
I was a shade under 21 stone.
Okay. How tall are you?
5'11".
5'11". I only say that because in case anyone's listening, they might be thinking, well, the dude might be 9 foot tall. Sounds fine. I had that a lot because I'm 6'6". People would say to me when I was 23 stone, they go, "Yeah, but you're tall." I go, "Yeah, I'm tall. I'm not Shaq." What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I started doing the couch to 5K.
Actually, I've never done couch to 5K. I forget when it kind of became a thing, but it might have been after I started running. So I kind of missed it. Yeah. So explain to me how it works. It's designed presumably to get you from the couch, not being able to run at all, to being able to do 5K in half an hour. That's the kind of the rough idea, is it?
Yeah. So the first run, the first week, it's 3 runs per week, and the first one, I think it's you run for 60 seconds,
right,
and then you walk for 90 seconds.
Yeah, literally.
So it's pretty much similar to what you did with the lamppost.
Yeah, exactly. I'd run a lamppost, walk a lamppost. Yeah,
exactly. And then the runs obviously get a bit longer, and the rests get shorter, and it keeps going. And I think on week 5, it's a 20-minute run.
Right.
And I can remember to this day going to the nature reserve and doing that 20-minute run, and getting to the end of it. It must have taken me, I don't know, over half an hour, maybe more. but I managed to waddle myself round for 20 minutes, and that was kind of a moment where I thought, I'm going to complete this. I'm going to get through it. So I carried on that to the end, and I got to the end of it, and I thought, great. Then I thought, last time I did it, I just stopped. So this time I thought, no, it's going to be a bit different. I'm going to I did the 5 to 10k program. The idea at the beginning of me running 10k is just like me going to the moon.
Yeah, because 10k, if you don't run, and people that run all the time don't really grasp that. If you don't run, 10k is that's a car journey. That isn't something that you do on foot.
Yeah, exactly. And that program is good because it does build you up slowly to get to there. So it was funny enough. I was looking at one of your videos. I just went into YouTube and wanted to look at how to run faster and stuff like that. And your video popped up about parkrun.
Yes.
So I thought, oh, parkrun. Went on the website and I thought, hang on, there's about 6 different parkruns near where I live. So funnily enough, where I go to my slimming world on a Saturday morning, the parkrun's like 5 minutes away from there. I thought, right, I'll just turn up and see what happens. You're there and you're a bit nervous, and there's a little bit where the sections for the newbies to go to, and I just said, where do I go? Where do I stand? And same sort of thing. You sort of think, well, I'm no good, so I'll go towards the back and then just see what happens.
Yeah.
And I remember waddling around in about, I think it was 32 minutes 50. I got to the end, and you get your little thing comes through on your email.
Actually, I should dive in there. 32 minutes 50. That isn't disaster of a time by any means.
No.
There are going to be people out there thinking, "Wow, I wish I could do 32 minutes 50." So at this point, you're already someone that can jog a 5k, because a lot of people go to parkrun and they just can't. Because I started parkrun at 42 minutes. Right. I was run walking. I think the average park run time is 28 minutes. So you're only a few minutes off average. So there would have been people behind you, for example, at that park run, I guess.
Yeah. And it was kind of like, well, I just wanted to finish it, get to the end of it. And I was like, I got my little time. And I remember taking a screenshot and sending it to my friend. And I said, like, I've just completed this in 32 minutes. And their reaction was, what, you went for a run? So it's kind of like, something's not quite right here. Then, like you said in your video, I kind of got a bug for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, right, I want to go faster.
Yes.
So 6 weeks in a row, I think I PB'd. I got from 32 to like 29 something.
Those early weeks are fun, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because every time you go,
absolutely,
you're hacking 10, 15 seconds off every time, no problem.
It's just this psychological race against yourself. It's brilliant.
Yeah. And also, people say parkrun is not a race, and you should run your own race and don't worry about other people.
Yeah.
But there's other people next to you, around you. Someone says go. There's a finish line. It's hard not to, for some sort of competitive spirit to come from somewhere, even if you've not even had that in the past. You just find yourself thinking, well, there's someone just in front of me. And that's that. I just found it. Someone that did no competitive sport, I found going on a Saturday morning and doing something competitive, whether it was me racing my time or me racing sometimes literally the little old lady in front of me that I couldn't keep up with. Yeah, just that kind of primal desire to just kind of be a bit better than you were yesterday.
Having other people around you who are clearly better than me, they almost like they pull you along.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that works right the way. Every fast parkrun I've ever done has been on the shoulder of someone fast. My fastest ever, I did a 1911's my fastest, and I was sat on the shoulder of some little kid. And I was just thinking in my head, do not let this kid go, whatever. And at the end of it, I wanted to kind of go and shake his hand and say, I thought I'd probably get some concerned parents looking at me if I start kind of grabbing hold of their child, but I just followed him home the whole way. It was insane. And that works at the back, it works at the front. If there's someone in front of you, and they're just a tiny bit faster than you, you're going to go faster.
It's funny as well with this partner, because I think my friends think I'm having some sort of midlife crisis or something, because I've got some friends I went to school with, and we go out on a weekend now and again, and we'll go somewhere in the country and just have a weekend away. But on the Saturday morning now, we'll find the local parkrun and run it.
Yeah, awesome. It is quite funny that that the idea of kind of looking after yourself and keeping fit and healthy is potentially a midlife crisis. It's just
Yeah.
actually the midlife crisis should be giving up and kind of just eating donuts all day long. That should be, but that's the norm. Actually, I got to go back a sec. You joined Slimming World. Now,
Yeah.
in my head, so correct me because I must be wrong. That's just like a room full of predominantly ladies.
Absolutely.
And you.
There's me and one other guy.
I would have been, I mean, we're going to come on to the fact that you just dived into Hyrox. I'd have been too, I don't know what the word is, probably self-conscious or terrified or a mixture of everything to just go into that. But you're just cool. You just went along and it was all good.
Funny, I've done it in the past, but quite a while ago. But I thought to myself, I need to give it a go because I need to lose some weight. And I just went along. And I know that the process of it works for me because it's not really a program. It's just kind of like sorting out the way you eat, really, and basically not eating crap.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Which ultimately,
and
for most people, is all they need to really do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for me, it's more like the community of it as well.
Yeah.
Just like chatting to other people and, and everybody's there trying to get to the same goal. Yeah, it worked for me. And the thing is, without getting a bit of that weight off, I wouldn't have been able to start getting into the sport again.
Because weight and running are just kind of battling against each other. I mean, big people can run, but a big person that's a bit lighter will run faster. I mean, it's just
exactly. It's like you said in your video, it's simple physics, isn't it?
Yeah, but you simply can't beat it. Yeah, if you weigh 21 stone, you will not run as fast as if you were 20 stone, and faster still at 19. It's pretty linear.
Yeah, there's one thing you said actually in one of your videos. I think it was the Goggins one. You went out and ran 4 hours.
Yes, 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. But I think in it you said something like the reason you hit your goals is because you're doing stuff that other people don't do.
Yeah.
And that was part of it with the Slimming World. I kind of thought to myself, well, I'll just go because what's the worst that could happen? You could go, it could be successful, or I could just go, I can't go there. There might be lots of women there, or I can't. I'll be.
Do you know that's awesome because you've kind of used my own ramblings against me because I was thinking what a bold move to just kind of waltz into a Slimming World as a bloke. But absolutely right. Yeah, in that Goggins video, I said, and I do believe this. For me, I find motivation in knowing that I'm doing something that other people aren't doing. So, for example, in the Goggins video, at one point, I had to do a run at 4 o'clock in the morning or something, and obviously, I'm the only person out and about. I'm the only person out and about that's not a criminal. And so I'm running around, and I was just telling myself, yeah, you are the only person out doing this, and that's that's just good. It's good to be doing what others aren't when you live in a world where most people aren't the bar that you want to be measuring yourself against. If I was in the Olympic Village, then I'd probably want to be doing what everyone else is doing, but I'm not. I'm in Reading, So yeah, doing what others don't do, and you're absolutely right. And in fact, funny enough, I joined a yoga class once, and I remember now I did the same thing. I thought this is going to be filled with ladies doing yoga, and it was. I was the only guy there, but absolutely, I used that. Other guys aren't doing this, but then are other guys really the people that I want to be inspired by when it comes to mobility and flexibility? Probably not.
Yeah. Well, in that case, absolutely. And then I saw your January video of Hyrox, and funnily enough, I saw the sleigh push.
Yes.
And I thought, when I had the personal training session a few years back, we used to push the sleigh, and I thought I can do that.
Yeah. The good thing about Hyrox is that there are, unlike regular obstacle course races of which there's Spartan and Tough Mudder and those sort of things, there are a couple of things at least that bigger people can lend themselves to in a way that you can't in other sports, especially running based sports. I mean, I've done a lot of obstacle course racing. It's always frustrated me that the strength that I have, which is literally strength and size, isn't actually particularly useful. But you go to Hyrox and you could be rubbish at a lot of it, but you're going to get to the sled or the kettlebells. I mean, there's various things that a bigger person isn't going to be particularly intimidated by. Actually, going back before Hyrox, what were people, friends and family around you? In fact, you said you went off to swimming well. You didn't tell anybody. Who you just
7:30 in the morning on a Saturday, and I just got up and went. Wife was like, "Have you wet the bed or something?"
what's her has she been what's my question here? But in fact, let me go back a step. I've spoken about this on videos a number of times. Friends and family can be incredibly motivating. They can be the difference between getting after it and not. But that's not common. They can be useless, and that is unfortunately common through not necessarily through any fault of their own. And there isn't much in the middle, in my experience.
Yeah.
Maybe I've just been either blessed or cursed with very good or very, very bad family and friend members. So yeah, how friends and family for you pushed you on or not?
My wife's Geraldine. She's been brilliant. I needed to lose weight, and I went to Swimming World. Just went, but then she joined as well, and we both did really well.
Is there a competition between you? Is there like, how much do you lose this week?
No, not so much. See, my wife's not particularly competitive,
right?
Not like me, so she's pretty chilled. But she did we had that support. We kind of supported each other.
Yeah,
because it was kind of like if one was on it and one wasn't, it wouldn't have worked.
It's incredibly hard to be, especially dieting. Exercise is a bit different because you can just go off and exercise on your own.
Yeah.
But dieting, which basically means food in the house, is a hard thing to get on top of if you're doing it on your own. Unless you literally live on your own. You live on your own, you're sorted. In fact, actually, if you live on your own, it's easy because you're in complete control of the environment. But if you're not, especially if you've got kids as well. How old are your kids?
My eldest is going to be 11 very soon.
Okay,
in a few weeks.
So it's kind of they're old enough where if you had a house that was filled with nothing but bland, boring food, they'd kind of raise some objections. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. The sweets, chocolate, biscuits.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a hard. I mean, my kids are now grown or nearly grown, but they were that sort of age when I started, and it was I would literally have to have a cupboard to myself where I wouldn't even look at what was in their cupboards because it would just it would send me down a dark path. Okay, so you found friends, because I found in the early days my friends and family were not unsupportive, but they would say things like, "Oh, you feeling okay? Do you look like you lost some weight?" As though that was a bad thing. I was like, "Yeah, I have lost some weight. That's an amazing thing." So I had a very kind of not negative, a very neutral experience. So I said, friends, fine, leave them to one side. I'm just going to ignore them. And my current situation is very different now because obviously Jen trains with me, and it's been an amazing experience. But up until then, I didn't find much benefit from friends and family. So you're very lucky to have that.
I was quite fortunate there.
So okay, so you're doing 5K. Actually, what did you get your parkrun time down to?
So my current PB is 25:45.
See, 25:45 is a quick parkrun. And what are you weighing at the moment at 25:45?
About 17.5 stone.
It's a pity parkrun don't have weight categories, because you'd be I can absolutely guarantee you that people of your weight, of my weight, aren't running regularly under 26-minute park runs. I mean, it's faster than average. In fact, to give you an idea, I ran in a weighted vest at Hyrox, sorry. So before the Hyrox, so 3 weeks ago, I did my park run in my weighted vest, and I ran it in 25 dead, just to kind of get a bit of feel for the weight.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy to run 25 minutes dead in a 10 kilo vest. Again, people that are normal weights or have never struggled with their weight, it's very hard to get your head around the difference that just 10 kilos can make. And then when you are heavier than you want to be, I mean, it's incredibly motivating. It should be incredibly motivating. The idea that if you have in your mind, I want to be this much lighter, and you get that in a bag, you hold a bag of shopping that is that much, difference. It's a staggering amount of weight. I did a run over Christmas where I carried my granddaughter on my back with a weighted vest, and I still wasn't as heavy as I had been in the past. and I almost died doing parkrun. I mean, it was I'm not sure how I used to move around. So no, 25:45 is a cracking time. Have you got a target actually for your parkrun?
I'd like to get into the bracket of 24 minutes somewhere.
Oh, you're going to go faster than 24 minutes.
Weight wise, I want to try and get about another stone and a half off.
Okay. Actually, you mentioned that you did sport when you were younger. What age did you say no more of that?
So when I was younger, I played cricket to quite a high standard. So I played like semi-pro in the Lancashire leagues.
Okay.
Up in the northwest. So I had trials for Lancashire when I was younger and all that sort of thing. But when I got to about 18, that was kind of like turning back on that. Got to university, discovered alcohol, girls, food, kebabs.
Yeah. Not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, exactly. And then it all went a bit pear-shaped from there.
Yeah.
Literally.
Okay. So sort of early 20s to early 40s was your kind of 20-year window of not doing much. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So which was similar to me. Sort of 21, 22, stopped, started again, late 30s, but it was really turning 40 that made me think, whoa, this isn't good. Okay. So you're doing a 25:45 park run. You hear about Hyrox, and you just think that looks fine. I'll go and do that. You weren't in any way intimidated.
I'm not quite sure what I was thinking. So
yeah, because Hyrox, I mean, you were absolutely right to do it, and hopefully people listening to this will think that might have been thinking, oh, I'm not ready for Hyrox. Will now think, hopefully, yeah, I am, because you don't need to be ready as such. In fact, as I've said to many people, if you can do a park run in half an hour, you are absolutely fine to go and do a Hyrox. Okay, you won't have the fastest time on the day, but you'll have an experience that will kind of set a bar for you that you can then work from for the future, and you'll enjoy yourself. More importantly, so anyone can go and do it. But when you look at the Hyrox kind of promotional stuff, they do focus, I think, perhaps slightly to their detriment, on the elite athletes and it being a high-end sport in that sense, and it is for those guys, but there are far more normal people running Hyrox than there are sort of super jacked, ripped Adonises running around. So for someone to just dive into it the way you did is a bold move. I would have thought you didn't think, oh, funny. How am I going to fit in?
I didn't really feel that it was a bold move from my part. I think I just kind of signed up for it, and the reason I did that was to try and keep on top of my weight. I signed up for it in the summer, and I thought to myself, if I can't do it at that point, I've got to train to do it.
Yes,
so kind of keep on top of my fitness.
Makes you accountable. You have to be you're some accountability to something in the diary.
Yeah,
it's interesting because in fact the more I hear from your story, I think actually you're just highlighting that I was a bit wimpy about how I did things, because as I lost weight, I mean, I started doing my jogging lamppost to lamppost. One of the reasons I did it was because I was running in the dark, because I went out at night so no one could see me. The first time I went to a gym, I wore about 15 layers so that I was just this kind of invisible blob, because I didn't want to look in a mirror. I was very, very self-conscious. I did park run, but I started at the back, and I stayed at the back. I wouldn't in a million years have gone and done a Hyrox. I didn't do my first obstacle course race until I was already, well, in fact, I think when I did my first obstacle course race, I was running 10Ks in about 50 minutes, which is not a fast 10K, but equally it's not, it's an okay. I was a bit of a casual runner. I kind of knew what I was doing, and I thought, oh, I'm now ready. But what I should have done, and I always knew I should have done this, but I just never had the bravery to go and do it, was just to dive in. And what you did is exactly what people should do. You just thought, yeah, why not? Why can't I go and do it? And just went and did it. It's what I tell people to do, but never did myself. Well, actually, let's dive into the day then, because I want to know because as I said at the beginning, people taking longer than average are having a different experience For example, if people that don't know, Hyrox, multi-discipline fitness event. You do a 1 kilometer run around an arena, and then you do an obstacle. It could be the first one, for example, is a ski erg machine. You then do another kilometer run, and then you do another obstacle, sled push, another run, backwards and forwards. 8 obstacles, 8 runs. It takes the best in the world around an hour. So I think 55, 56 minutes for the elites. It takes people that are very good, very fit, athletic people, but not elite. They're probably doing it in around 1 hour 5 to 1 hour 15, 1 hour 20. And average is about 1.5 hours. But many people are taking longer. You did yours in 2 hours. I don't want to get this exact because it's important. 2 hours 20, 10 seconds, which is a lot longer than average. And when I see 2 hours 20 for a Hyrox time, the first thought that comes to my head is not that it's a slow time. It's that you're out there twice as long as an elite athlete is. I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean the elite guy's gone home and chilling out and resting, and you're still out there grinding it. And I mean, just the amount of work is off the charts. I did my last one in a weighted vest for charity, and I ran it in 1 hour 47, which was about half an hour slower than my kind of regular time. And it turned the event into something else for me. My hydration needs, my energy levels, the potential for cramp was just, I mean, everything. It was just it was an endurance event in a way that a regular run isn't. And you were out there. You were out there for another half hour on top of that. I couldn't imagine. I was laid on the floor at the end of mine, just gone. And the idea that you could still be out there is just heck of an achievement. So let's. I want to go through it. So you arrive there. Yeah. Actually, what's some people when they arrive, they look at all the people running around, and they're immediately, and they shouldn't be, but they're immediately intimidated because they just see all these kind of fit, healthy bodies. And I tell people, stop and look properly. There are plenty of regular folk. So when you walk, I
did think of what you said.
Yeah, good. I was going to say, when you walked in, did you see regular people? Was that or did you think, oh my goodness, it's Baywatch?
Me and my mate, we walked in and we went up the stairs where the tiered seating is, had a little look around, and it's all these super fit people, and it's just kind of like, you know, when you walk into like a dodgy pub somewhere and you think like, I don't belong here. It was a little bit like that. But then, like you said, I had a look around and I thought, hang on a minute, he's not going so fast, and
yeah, exactly,
she's not going so fast, and I thought, okay, this is all right.
Yes.
But and no thought did I think I couldn't do it. I remember being in the starting pen, and I was like really quite nervous.
That's like
my hands were shaking.
I was going to say, so starting pen, you're in the starting pen. Yeah. Let's start there, because when I go into starting pen now, this is something you can look forward to, because when I first started doing Spartans, I've been in starting pen feeling really uncomfortable, really out of place, like I shouldn't be there, like people are looking at me because I'm tall, I'm very obvious. And just feeling like, I want to go home. Now, when I'm in the starting pen at Hyrox, even though I'm no way near the far, I'm an average, kind of good average Hyroxer. I'm not by any stretch a great Hyroxer, but I feel completely at home in that starting pen. I feel when they start playing they use the Chicago Bulls run out music from the 90s. When that music starts coming on at the beginning, and I'm just thinking, good, let's rock and roll. So that kind of gives you something to look forward to. I've been where you are, and I could never imagine being in that starting pen. You know, you look at the people in the starting pen who are like that when you aren't, and you think, what are these idiots jumping around, high-fiving each other, getting all excited. But very, very quickly you become that. So you're there, you're nervous.
Yeah, so nervous. I had me watch, and I thought, I'll press start, obviously. And I remember I was kind of pressing start, but I kind of pressed it twice, so it stopped. I was kind of nervous with that, and then I was like, it had like 7 seconds, but for the whole of the thing, I just thought I was all over the place. But anyway, went out for the first run. I was all right. I didn't want to go too fast, but I was looking for about 6 minutes ish.
Yep.
And but I ran about 7, slower than I expected.
although it was 3.5 laps, wasn't it? For that first,
Yeah.
that first one was
Yeah, it's a bit longer, isn't it?
Yeah, the start pen was, because I'm looking at your times. You did a 7:19 on that first run. I
Yeah.
reckon that probably is a 6-minute kilometer.
Yeah.
Which actually, given your park run times, is probably about what you should be aiming for. I often tell people that if you have a park run, take your park run, add a little bit on, and that's your, so if you're doing a 25-minute park run, then a half-hour park run for you is now fairly comfortable. So that's 6-minute kilometers. So 6-minute kilometers for a Hyrox is a great target, and you probably hit that on your first one.
Yeah, and I wanted to try and be relatively consistent with that all the way through.
Yeah, everyone wants to do that.
As you can tell, did it go that way?
That's where, when you look at the times of the elite guys and you see they ran like a 350, a 351.
It's a completely different race.
Yeah, I mean, just insane. Yeah, and you look at normal people, mine were the same. They start off a bit disappointing and they end up, what the heck was I doing? Yeah. So you do your first lap, and then the first exercise you go into, that's a ski erg, and your ski erg time was fine. Like, you did a 4:15, which is in fact exactly the same as I did on my ski erg with the weighted vest. You were in the top half of all runners on your ski erg.
I was happy with the ski erg.
I was going to say, you've got access to, you have access to a ski erg for training, do you?
Yeah. My gym. So basically, my gym can do everything. That's in Hyrox. It kind of worked out pretty well. Yeah, so the ski erg wasn't too bad, and then went out onto the next run. It felt pretty okay. Came back in for the sled push.
Yeah, that's when it's wake up.
And then it's like, here we go.
Yeah.
It was interesting to get a feel of how heavy it was going to be, because you never really know. The one in my gym, you kind of know how that feels, but it's a different design of sled.
Yeah, it's very hard to compare one sled to another. Even different Hyrox events will have sleds. Sometimes the sleds will just move easier than the other. In fact, on the forums, people start debating about whether it was the humidity caused the coefficient drag factor of the carpet. I mean, people get very bogged down in sled dynamics.
I was just happy when I pushed it; it moved.
Yes, yeah. Well, Joe, you laugh because one of the things that I had, and I expect the same for you. So, bigger guy, you come to the sled and you think, okay, of everything in the event today, this is something that I can do because it's just pushing something heavy. Whether it's a fridge across your kitchen or the sled, it's you can push it, and you hit it, and when it moves, there's just this kind of sense of relief that I'm gonna complete this. Because I ran on the Saturday. I'd stepped up to the pro weights for the first time, and I attacked that sled thinking exactly the same as I've always thought. I'm a bigger guy. This thing's just going to move, and I might as well be leaning against a brick wall. It was, and my brain just immediately kind of gave up, and in a way that I'm pretty sure the lighter runners who have often moaned to me and said, "Oh, it's really hard pushing the sled," and I thought, what are you talking about? I get it now. When you hit that sled as a lighter person and it doesn't move, it's a tough one, because running, for example, if you run slow, you just run slow. You're going to get there eventually. But with something like the sled push, if it doesn't move, there is no plan B.
Exactly.
That thing has to go across the floor.
Exactly.
So the second it starts sliding, there is a real sense of, okay, I've got it.
Yeah. I think the marshal must have thought I was a bit mad, because I just kept saying to myself when I was pushing it, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop.
Absolutely.
And I didn't stop, so that was good.
So you do your sled, and that actually sled time was just over 3 minutes. It was pretty good for a sled. But then the run after the sled, that is just brutal, is it? When you come
exactly.
In fact, it's when you walk out of the sled arena to go back to the run. It's that first walk where you suddenly realise, oh, my legs don't work anymore.
Absolutely, it just feels really heavy.
Yeah,
really heavy.
Because you went into an 8-minute run, and I know what that feels like. I mean, that run, I've often come off the sled buzzing because I've overtaken a few people, and then that buzz just immediately leaves me because I think, I now can't walk though. So
burns your legs.
whatever I've achieved in that sled overtaking people, is pointless. I now look like an idiot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That
And a
next
perfect
run.
example of that is my friend who I raced with. Like the first 3 stations, I beat him on, but I can't run.
No, it's annoying because Hyrox needs to be 600-meter runs, not a kilometer. It's just a little bit too much running. There are other events. Spartan do a thing called Deca that has a bit less running in it. That almost go the other way and go not enough running. Yeah, Hyrox, there's no question. It's going to be won by people that can run, and if
Exactly.
you have 2 people, the runner will beat most of the time. Will beat the stronger guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's the only good news is that if you are a stronger guy, I believe it's easier for a stronger guy to get good at running than it is for a good runner to get stronger, especially in the older age groups. Once you're at 45, for you at 45 to increase your running ability, just go run. It's easy as that.
Yeah.
But if you were 45 and you were, half your weight and you wanted to get bigger and stronger, that at 45, that's a hard thing for the body to try and do. So it's easier for us, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
So you do your run, and then sled pull. What the pull? I find the pull very technique based. You kind of think in your head it's just a muscly kind of thing. If you're strong, you're gonna be fine. But yeah, technique I find hard.
With that, I was worried about stepping out the box. I didn't want to do that, so I kind of went for a sort of planted foot technique and just pulled my arm one after the other, and it moved.
That's the lazy big man approach. Exactly what I do. Just stand still and just muscle it in. And also you're telling yourself you're saving your legs for the run.
Yeah. It didn't work, but
no, indeed, no. But that I exactly what I did the first time. I don't think I took a single step the first time I did sled pull. I just stood there and just hauled it in.
That's what I did. Yeah.
It is quite weird that your legs, even though you're standing still, are still obviously doing a lot just stabilizing you because you still can't run afterwards.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And they've still got a little burn in them from the previous run.
They haven't recovered. That again, the problem. This is the problem with Hyrox, isn't it? Nothing recovers at all. It's just a straight declining of ability to the end. There is no recovery.
I think that's what I underestimated. Yeah.
So that takes you into, this is gonna be a fun one. That takes you into the burpee broad jumps, and I'm laughing. And the reason I'm laughing, which is a bit cruel, is because you took 14 minutes 36 seconds. Now, what that makes me think. Imagine this. Imagine you went to like a circuit training class or something, and the instructor says to you, "Okay, we're going to start off by doing some burpees." And you go, "Okay, burpees, whatever. What are we doing? We're doing 10. We're doing 20. No, we're going to go for time. Okay, what we do? 30 seconds, do a minute. No, going to do 14 minutes of them." You'd be okay. I'm never coming to this class again. This coach is an idiot. Who assigns someone 14 minutes?
I think burpee broad jumps is where the wheels start to come off a little bit on my.
Well, I mean, 14 minutes of them. I mean, again, and this comes back to what I was saying about people taking longer, having a different experience. 14 minutes of burpees is brutal. Absolutely brutal. Doesn't matter how fast or slow you're doing them. That's 14 minutes.
Yeah.
It's half a sitcom episode. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, I think it's probably about three minutes of burpees and about 11 minutes of lying on the floor.
Yeah, when your chest hits the deck, you don't want to get back up. You just think, this is beautiful. Yeah. Now that was horrific. Actually, at that point, were you getting, because something that I noticed, because obviously with my weighted vest, I was taking a bit longer than I have done previously. And I was getting a lot of support from the marshals. And it was something that I've always had previously. I say I've always had it. I've assumed the marshals have said nice things to me as I've run past. But I've never paid any attention because in the past I've been going quicker and I've just not needed any support. But this time, weighted vest, pro weights, taking a lot longer. I was incredibly grateful of the marshals. And it made me realize that the people that have said to me, wow, the marshals are amazing, aren't they? And I've always gone, yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm sure they are. I get it now. I get why for some people having the marshal beside you saying another rep, let's go, one more. It just makes a difference. Because you had no one there in the crowd, did you? That was
No, my family was there.
Oh, they were there. Okay. Oh, what was that like?
Yeah, my wife, my kids, my brother. My brother came.
Oh, awesome. Okay, right.
Yeah.
What's that like? Your
So
kids?
that did help. That really helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do the family? That's interesting because I've always had Jen, my wife, watching me. I've had my kid there filming me once though, and although my kid was 18, there was definitely a sense of wanting him to be sort of, I'm not sure what the right word would be, I guess kind of proud of his dad's ability.
Yeah.
Do you get that with an 11-year-old? Are you wanting your kids to see you and thinking,
Definitely.
yeah.
I think having them there, I'm not sure I would have completed it if they not been there.
That's awesome to hear.
You can hear them shouting in the crowd and cheering and stuff, and that was brilliant. That was really good. You kind of think to yourself, "Well, I've got to finish this now," and it's nice for them to see Daddy doing that sort of stuff rather than out of breath sat on the patio.
Absolutely. I can't.
Which was only like 18 months earlier.
I never had my kids see me do anything particularly. In fact, funny enough, my kid coming to film me last year at Hyrox at the age of 18 was the first time my kids had seen me do anything remotely like that. In fact, they had literally only seen me do it on YouTube previously, which is a weird experience. So no, I can't even. Well, I can imagine how cool it must be to have 11-year-olds kind of yelling at you. Yeah, go on, Dad. That's
it was really good.
Yeah, and they had 14 minutes to do it, so they'd have
14. Yes, they had plenty of time.
They could have organised between themselves like a whole sort of chant and
absolutely.
They could have drawn up some placards and everything in that time.
Made a banner. Yeah.
I tell you what's going to be nice. Next time you do burpees, you're crushing that time. I mean, there's no question.
Yeah, definitely.
That time is because burpees are just a representation of how tired you are. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's, you get because interesting. You got to and again, this is where it gets very interesting. You got to burpees at 47 minutes in. Now, the elite guys are 5 minutes away from finishing.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're going into the most grueling part of your event in a way. It's it really does. It does paint the picture that you're doing a different thing. It's like someone doing a park run versus someone doing an Ironman next to them or something. So that takes you into the row. What you like on a rowing machine? Rowing machine's my favorite, but
fine. Again, I think probably could improve my technique, but I just got it done, sort of thing.
Yeah, and you sat down.
The row wasn't too bad.
Farmer's carry. Now, farmer's carry. You're a big guy. Did you put them down first of all?
Nope.
Good.
No,
good.
Not at all.
Otherwise, we'd have had to end this podcast.
I felt I should have got a bit faster with him because I was quite fatigued. So I think it was 4 ways up and down, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4
so
legs.
For the first 3, I kind of walked quickly. Then the final bit, I ran it.
Yeah, get it over with.
But when I finished it, I kind of thought I kind of wussed out there. I reckon I could have run that more. I didn't push myself as hard as I should have done. Probably found that the easiest one.
I've always come off the farmer's carry thinking annoying. I should have gone a bit quicker. It's a hard one to judge because equally it's not. I mean, I say big guy, don't put him down. It should be easy. It's still a chunk of weight in each hand, isn't it? Your traps, your shoulders are burning by the end of it. It's not messing about. Well, at this point, were you? Because you ran in the. Am I right? You were in the last men's open wave.
It was quite a strange experience, because I ran in last wave of men of open,
right?
So it was 3:10 start. So obviously I started off with running around with there was loads of men around me, and then it was the females doubles.
Okay, so suddenly you're getting,
and then suddenly the whole thing changed.
Pairs of women everywhere. Yeah, that's fun. Okay, now interestingly, that takes you into sandbag lunges. I say interesting because you're having ridiculed your burpee time. You beat me on sandbag lunges. I couldn't, when I saw the times, I couldn't work out why your sandbag lunges were so fast.
Yeah,
you had a perfectly respectable sandbag lunge time, and yet you go into the sandbag lunges at 1 hour 44.
Yeah,
you've been out there for ages. I would have thought you'd have been just smoked at that point, and yet you look like you just kind of plodded through them.
Now, the lunges is a funny one because I couldn't do a lunge 18 months ago,
right?
Without any weight,
right?
And I think running makes your legs stronger anyway.
Yes, yep.
But I just lunged all of the time around the kitchen, obviously loads in the gym. When I'm working away, I'm lunging in the hotel. I just lunged and lunged and lunged.
That's it.
So when it actually
I'm
came
gonna
to
start
it,
lunging at my desk now every day.
yeah, exactly. So when I got to the event, I thought this is going to be brutal, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, no, you did a perfectly fine time. Yeah.
But the run afterwards, oh my god.
Yes, that's the last run. That's run 8. That was a 13:39.
Yeah, I went out to try and run, and it was like electricity going through both my legs and both my arms, and I thought, I've got to walk.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I've had it with running ultra marathons when you get
Yeah.
to a point where you want to go faster. It doesn't feel like there's a reason why you can't go faster.
Yeah.
But your body just says that's not going to happen. This is the speed
Yeah.
we're going to go at, and you're looking at yourself thinking, why am I shuffling along like I'm 150?
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, and there's nothing you can do. And so then you go into the wall balls, and again, I mean, the wall balls, you were 13 and a half minutes of wall balls, and that, again, going back to my horrendous circuit training class that you'd never attend. If a coach said let's all do 13 minutes of wall balls, you'd I mean, that's just an insane thing. Did you go into it having a plan? Like, were you thinking I'll do 5s or 10s or what? What was the plan?
Right, beforehand, my plan was just go and do as many as you can, and then when you get to the point where you got to stop, do it in 10s, 5s, up to 100.
Right.
Happy days.
Yeah, it was a good plan.
And I think I did the first, like 15 or 17, and it was like, I've got to stop now. Then they brought the box in to make sure I was going low enough.
Right.
But what was great was I was on the wall ball at the very end, and then there was a fence in the crowd, and I had my son, my daughter, my wife, my brother, and his wife, all cheering.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
And I just thought, keep doing it. The marshal was really good, really encouraging. Go, yeah, push it. You can do it. You can do it. So I managed to do that. Managed to get to 100. And I thought, right, I'm going to sprint now to the end. Couldn't do that.
No,
you've seen me on the video.
I've seen you on the video, yeah, and you look like a man that is trying to sprint, but his body says that's not happening today. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, but what I love
about at the beginning was to sprint.
What I love about that, and that video was, as I say, it was a thing that made me think, yeah, got to talk to you. That you could have walked. What you could have done, what many people would have done, is they'd have gone, I've done it, I've completed it, and who cares about time at this point? I'm just going to walk over the line. But you didn't. You went as fast as you could go, which wasn't very fast, but it was as fast. But it was as fast as you could go, which is exactly what you should be doing. It's a race. It's a race. There's a clock ticking.
Exactly,
yeah. Don't go any slower than you have to, and then you cross the line. And yeah, you look pretty excited when you cross the line.
Oh my God.
Yeah, in fact, I was almost jealous because when I crossed the line with my weighted vest run, I just collapsed and I didn't feel that kind of sense of satisfaction that I saw you had. I thought, that's a pity. My run was because I kind of deliberately slowed myself down with the vest. So I wasn't like I was kind of hitting a PB or anything. It kind of lacked something for me at the finish line. The event was great, but the literal finish wasn't particularly exciting. But your finish, you just looked, just elated.
Just happy I actually got through it.
Yeah, as you should have been. That was, as I say, 2 hours 20 minutes of doing anything is an insane task. And if you're someone like a cyclist, you think, well, I go out for a regular bike ride at 2 hours 20. Your heart rate on a Hyrox is running through the roof from the start. Yeah. This is not 2 hours 20 of steady state cardio. This is 2 hours 20 of intense exercise. I mean, it's just, you can't. Crikey, as I say, that you got half an hour you spent doing burpee broad jumps and wall balls. I mean, that alone is just. If my coach set me half hour 15 minutes of burpees, 15 minutes of wall balls, I'd want to go back to bed.
Give up.
You had that plus a couple of hours of other stuff. What's your plan? Are you Hyrox wise? Are you going back to another one?
Hyrox, I'm going to do another one. I'm going to sign up to Manchester next year.
Okay.
And my plan going into it is to be hopefully a stone lighter than I am now.
Okay.
And that hopefully will make my runs a bit quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, imagine putting 14 pound. What is that? That's 14 pound. That's what 6 kilos, something like that, in a bag and running around with it. I mean, it's a huge amount of weight. Huge amount of weight. Yeah.
So and I think if I kind of burpee everywhere, like I lunged everywhere, I just need to improve that technique.
Although lunging everywhere looks a bit weird, burpeeing everywhere,
yes, exactly,
looks like you need to be locked up. Yeah, that's some sort of weird kind of frog fetish or something going on. Yeah, that I'm not quite sure how that'll work. I know you're gonna have a lot of fun on your next one because you're just gonna, if you just keep doing what you're doing, you're going to. And I say a lot. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you always got, and what you're getting faster and faster by doing what you're doing. So inevitably,
I think the goal next time would be certainly under 2 hours.
Yes,
I think it's doable.
Absolutely. Oh, no question. I mean, I can. Well, okay. So I would say if you only got a year, I would be surprised if you keep your training just kind of not go crazy, just doing what you're doing, literally doing what you're doing.
Take it over,
you should be. I would be targeting something like 145. It's going to come from your running. There's no question, because the running is everything. You know, the reason you're spending 14 minutes on burpees is not because you need 40 minutes to do burpees. It's because you're going into them exhausted from running.
Yeah.
So when your runs, instead of your runs being 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and so on, and once they're 5.5, then not only are you saving minutes of time there, because also the very nature of getting to the wall balls next time at around, let's say, 1 hour 40, you'll be 1 hour 40 of tired. You got to your wall balls this time at 2 hours 6. So you basically run 2 Hyrox laps back to back for some people, and then you got to do 15 minutes of wall balls. So and again, I keep making the point, but it's so important. You are doing something different to most people. There's like a spectrum of that, isn't there? Because everyone's doing something different. I mean, as you come down, the person that's taking 1 hour 45 is doing something more than the person that's taking 1.5. And even when you get down to people that are running 110, 115, 120, they're still out there 20 minutes longer than the guy that's doing the 55-minute run. It's a bit like with parkrun. If I do a parkrun in 20 minutes, I finish and I feel tired for about a minute and I'm good again. The person that's coming in at 40 minutes, they're not slower than me. That's not the difference. They've worked twice as hard as me, and not only that, it's going to take them now 4 hours to recover. Yeah, no, it's very, very impressive. And as I say, it will be amazing to see next year how you do. I'd be surprised if you aren't pushing somewhere towards 145. It'll be interesting to have a chat towards the end of the year and see what your parkrun time's looking like, because parkrun, I'm a huge parkrun fan, and I think absolutely, I think it's genuinely probably saved lives.
Yeah, definitely.
So no, it's a very good thing. And if your parkrun time is you're already running a 25:45, your parkrun is going to be down around 23 minutes or something, isn't it? That's got to be where you've
hopefully.
I reckon. If you have a 23-minute parkrun, you're doing a 145 Hyrox. That's my unexpert opinion.
That's the plan.
Yeah. No,
well, the thing is, I kind of think from last summer when I signed up, I was at a point where there's no way I could have done it. No,
and you have to remind yourself of those jumps. Last summer couldn't do it. This winter did it. That jump is bigger than did it. Now I want to do it faster.
Exactly.
You've done the hard bit of just rocking up and doing it. Yeah. Now it literally gets easier, and it does get. Ironically, it does get easier because you aren't going to be ever doing a 2 hour plus Hyrox event
No,
again.
hopefully not.
No, you're going to have a lot of fun next time, because you'll be able to attack things, because you'll be going into the fresher, and it will just be and what you should do is something that I've done in the past, is write down on your arm or commit to memory the times that you were at for certain things. So, for example, you can see that you went into the row at whatever time it was. I think you went into the row at 1 hour 13. So next time when you go into the row and you think, oh, whatever, 50 minutes or something, and just knowing that you're so far ahead of your kind of virtual self from last time, it would just be it would just motivate you to go even faster.
No, I'm already looking forward to it. Trying to think in what I can do to improve. Certainly burpees, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny because, like I say, when I went over the line, I was excited that I'd finished it. But it was that little sense of disappointment. I was kind of like, because I wanted to go into 2 hours, and I looked at the time, I was like, bloody hell, 20 minutes over. What was I doing?
I mean, I can understand that completely, and in a way, it's good that you think that, because if you didn't, it would be odd if you didn't. But equally, you should have no kind of negative thoughts about any of that. That's just you. As I say to everyone that does Hyrox for the first time, all you're doing is just setting a bar. And in a way, it doesn't really matter whether it's 2 hours 20, 2 hours 1:59. It doesn't matter. You are never going to do. You are never going to do the time that you ultimately want to be your time. You don't want to retire from Hyrox whenever that time comes with a time of whatever you did. So if you'd run a 1:59, you'd have been happy that you got into 2 hours, but it's still not the time you want. So in a sense, it really doesn't matter. The first Hyrox I did, I can't remember what I got, but I didn't care too much. It wasn't going to be the time I wanted, so I just got it done. Then you go back, and then that's when it starts, and then you can get the time. You can be disappointed next time. You run a 1:46, then
be a bit ecstatic.
I'll be disappointed because I said 1:45. That's when you should be disappointed. But for this one, no, you should be nothing but proud of that. And also the other thing, just kind of to finish off on, 45. I can remember turning 40 and thinking, oh, that's a pity because life is now over. I've left it too late. It's nothing good happens to anybody after 40. And I couldn't have been more wrong. In fact, everything that I currently value, whether it's doing this as a job or whatever, my marriage, everything has come after that. 45 is so young in this type of event kind of world, because I can't wait. I'm 50 in November. I can't wait to turn 50 so I can go and run in the 50 to 54 age category.
The next category, yeah.
So having thought that turning 40 was the end of life as I knew it, I now can't wait to turn 50. So you have just forever. I mean, one of the problems with sports is that sports in general are geared towards young people. 40, who's a sportsman at 45? Nobody.
Exactly.
But in this world, you are an athlete at 45, and there's a place for you. There's an age group that you can compare yourself to others. So I love the fact that it allows people of any age to still kind of treat sports the way they would have done if they were 18. That there is no difference. It's not,
a brilliant event.
Yeah, it really is. They have nailed it. There's a few things they could do better, but they are negligible. Compared to other events, there's very little I'd change about Hyrox. So at 45, you've got ages. I mean, there's no reason why by the time you turn 50, you're not. I mean, crikey, even 55 years doesn't take 5 years. That's the beauty of it. You'll be 46, 47. You'll be running under an hour and a half. Just because you will, just because anybody that looks after themselves, keeps themselves in shape, and does this for a couple of years will end up running under 1.5 hours. That's just a thing. Yep. It's a bit like a 23-minute park run. You don't, to run under 20 minutes is something else, but to get under 23 minutes, just run regular, look after yourself, be the right weight, and it will just happen. The same for a 1 hour 30 Hyrox.
I think it was the kind of park run that made me think that I can do these sort of events. Because when I ran my first one, 32 minutes 50, I kind of looked at the people who were finishing in, like, say, 25, 26 minutes and thinking, I'm never going to get to there. That's just a whole different world. But now I can run a 25:45 just by sort of persevering.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I kind of think that seems so far away at one point, but now it's gettable. And so I kind of think if I look at Hyrox in the same sort of way, 2 hours 20 now. Hopefully next time 2 hours 5. You never. I don't know if I keep working at it.
It's quite weird sometimes when people explain how far they've come in such a short time, and yet they still can't always see, and it's understandable. They can't quite see what's obviously around the corner. It's a bit like you saying to me, 2, 4, 6, 8. I'd go, well, it's 10. 10's next. And you're going, is it not 9? I go, no, dude, it's 10. You've just gone, that's next in line. And the same happens here. People say, oh, well, I've been training for 18 months and I've gone from, couldn't imagine it whatsoever to doing it. Well, then the next progression is to take a huge chunk off of that. And you say 205. You're not running a 205 next time you go to Hyrox. Not in a million years. Not you're going faster than that. I mean, you simply are. In the same way that 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 is next. You are going faster, and it's gonna be amazing to see. I can't wait to see how you get on, and we'll get you back on and see how you did. And
it's a cliche to say, I know, but anyone can do this because I couldn't be any further away from a person that would do Hyrox.
No, absolutely, and you are a Hyrox athlete. I mean that's the cool thing about it. You are. I mean, there's no people. That's simply the case. That's what you are. You're a Hyrox athlete, and like you say, it's something that most people, assuming that they are, fit and well in most normal regards, can just go along and do, and basically be. And here's the bottom line: be as brave as you were, and not as cowardly as I was. That's.
I think it's a fine line between brave and stupid.
Well, there is, there is, there absolutely is. But here's how it works. If you turn out to have done it and it was a bit stupid, it can still be fun. And I've entered some things that with hindsight were stupid, and they're still been fun. But if you don't, because you're kind of cowardly, I can't think of a better word for it, but I'm applying it to myself here. So anybody that's kind of triggered by that tough luck. I was cowardly. There is nothing good that comes from that. There is no good from that. Yeah, me not doing the things that I could have done sooner has no positive implications. But if you do something and you think this is brave and it turns out to be dumb, for example, as a stupid example, if you'd have done this and it had taken you 4.5 hours, that would have been stupid.
That probably would not be wise.
But it would also have been. I'd still have had you on. I mean, that would still have been an amazing story. Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. There you go. So there is a fine line between brave and stupid, but they can both be just as fun as each other. Cowardly doesn't come with any bonuses whatsoever. Okay, Mark. Thanks for your time, and we will speak again.
Excellent. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.